Warm greetings to one and all present here. It's my pleasure to welcome you all back to our phenomenal workshop on AR VR. I'm Pallavi Kaushik, Marketing Chair of ISA MUJ chapter, your host for today's session. I would like to welcome Dr. Shiva Prasad Sir, Director of MUJ, HOD Sir, Dr. Shahbaz Ahmed Siddiqui, Sushil Sir from Directorate of Alumni Relations, faculty members Mrs. Princy Randhawa and Mr. Shambhu Roy Chaudhary. On behalf of ISA MUJ Student Chapter, I'm grateful to all for joining in this insightful session. Just to give everyone a recap to yesterday's session, we started our workshop with an introduction to AR VR by Akshat Patel. Then we moved on to the applications of AR VR in different domains, which was presented to us by Nikunj Reddy. Lastly, Pranav Sharma talked to us through the introduction to Unity 3D. For today's session, I would like to invite Akshat Patel to start with the session.
Thank you, Pallavi, for the introduction, and good morning to each and every one of you present here. Today, I would like to start my session by giving an introduction about what is IoT, and today's topic is mini project on augmented reality with the Internet of Things, which is AR with IoT. The topic for today's discussion will be what exactly is IoT. Getting started with the Node MCU development board, which has the inbuilt ESP8266 Wi-Fi module, the role of Blink API in this project, and we'll discuss the flow of the project. I will just be taking 5 minutes of your time to walk you through the entire flow of the project, and then Pranav Sharma will be discussing about how to begin a journey with Unity 3D. So let us start the discussion by answering the very simple question, what is IoT? Since IoT is not the main topic for the discussion today, let me just introduce the concept of IoT with this small definition. The Internet of Things is a network of physical objects or things embedded with electronics, software, and network connectivity, which enables these objects to collect and exchange data with the user as well as other internet-connected devices. This diagram shows a very few applications of IoT, and it is just the tip of the iceberg of the capabilities of IoT. This brings us to the next question. How can we implement IoT in our daily lives being hobbies? For that, we need to know what is ESP8266 and the Node MCU development board. We will be using these modules in today's project. So this is where the ESP8266 microcontroller comes into picture. The ESP8266 is a low-cost Wi-Fi chip developed by Expressive Systems with TCP/IP protocol. Then what exactly is Node MCU? Node MCU is just a firmware which is running on ESP8266 Wi-Fi module. A firmware is a software program or set of instructions programmed on a hardware device. It is basically an SoC, which is also known as System on Chip. System on Chip is an integrated circuit that integrates all the components of a computer or other electronic system. This board is also known as the Node MCU development board. C language is used to program the Node MCU development board using the Arduino IDE. But what is Arduino IDE? The Arduino Integrated Development Environment is a cross-platform that is used to write and upload programs to the Arduino compatible boards, but also with the help of third-party code, other vendors' development boards such as the Node MCU can also be programmed using the Arduino IDE. We will be seeing this in action in some time. So what is the role of Blink in our project? Blink was designed for the Internet of Things. It can control hardware remotely. It can display sensor data, it can store the data, visualize it, and do many more cool things. Now we will be using the Blink API, which is short for Application Programming Interface. So what is Blink API? Link HTTP RESTful API allows to easily read and write values from or to the pins in Blink apps and hardware. The hardware can be microcontrollers and microcomputers like Arduino, Raspberry Pi, ESP8266 module, Particle, etc. Using this API link, we'll be seeing how to set up the Blink app in some time. Let me just discuss the flow of the project and what we will be seeing in today's session. We will be creating the project in which we can control an appliance or an LED from anywhere in the world using augmented reality buttons. These buttons will be virtual buttons and you just have to wave your hand in the air, turn on or turn off the device. For the project, the LED or the relay module is connected to the NodeMCU development board. The NodeMCU board will be connected to a Wi-Fi network at all times so that it gets internet connectivity. The user's mobile phone will have the Blink app running at all times because the Blink needs to connect the Wi-Fi module to the Blink server so that we can control the hardware using the Blink APIs. The augmented reality app will be running the Vuforia engine. The Vuforia engine will run the target image and the script running for the virtual buttons on cloud. I know this sounds very complicated, but trust me, it is not. Now, Pranav Sharma will give you the introduction of Unity 3D and how to get started using Unity 3D. And then I'll be proceeding with our today's project, which will be the main crux of this today's session. Thank you.
Thank you, Akshat. So Akshat, can you just confirm if my screen is visible?
Yeah.
So good morning, guys. So I'll just start with my session. So my session will be a really short one. I'll give you a really short introduction to Unity 3D. So as soon as you download Unity into your system, there will be a software known as Unity Hub. So this is where we start. So a very important requirement for today's session will be that so first of all we go to install to see the Unity version we have. So currently in my system the version I use is the 2020.3.4F1. So important requirement for the session is that we need to have the Android build support installed into the Unity. We need to have both the Android SDK and NDK tools and the Open JDK. If it is not, then we need to just install it. So now we'll just begin with the session. So first of all, I'll just create a new Unity file and I'll name it ISA. Just wait for the file to open. So this might take the time depending on the processing of the system. So as soon as we open Unity, this is the screen that is visible. So this is the UI of Unity. So what is a UI? So UI is something where the user interacts with the software or creates his game. So the UI of Unity is divided into 4 parts. On top we see the title bar, below that we see the toolbar, below that we see the menu bar, and below we see the layout. So in the title bar we see the name of the project, the scene we are creating, and the current platform it is running on and the version we see. So exactly what is a scene in Unity? So a scene is a game screen or a game level or a film scene, and in a project we can have multiple scenes. So I'll just show you a demo of how to create a normal AR app. So there are a few things that we need to do. First of all, we go to file. Before that, I'll just give you a brief of the menus. In the toolbar, we have the file menu, the edit, assets, game object, component, window, and help. And below that, we have the menu bar. With this, we can enlarge, rotate different game objects. So first of all, for the AR application, we'll need to go to build settings, where we'll change the platform from PC to Android. We just click on that and we change a few settings by going to player settings. So what we do is we just change the company name. I'll just put it ISA, and then we can have a default icon of the application. So we can select anything. You can even have a custom one, but now I'll just select a knob. A very important thing is that we need to go to the graphics API and remove the Vulkan, because as of now the Vulkan is not compatible with the Google XR support. So we'll just go and click on the minus button to remove it. So now it's removed. We'll leave the rest of the settings the same way, and we'll click on switch platform. Since we need to build this application for Android, we need to switch the platform to Android. This can take time depending upon the system speed. So now here we can see an inspector window. So an inspector window is something that will show the details of the game object. So first of all, I'll just start. Before AR, there are a few things that need to be installed into the system. So I go to Windows and we go to the package manager and we wait for this, and then we go to the Unity registry. So for the AR application to work, there are a few packages that need to be installed. One of them is AR Foundation. The second one is AR Core XR plugin. This is for Android. The third one is AR Kit XR plugin. This one is for iOS. And the fourth one is the AR Kit face tracking. So you can also see the details about each and every package here. So now let's install these 4 packages. Just install the AR Foundation. Now we install the AR Core XR plugin. Install the AR Kit face tracking. So these are the 4 packages we've installed, and a very important package for today's session will be the Euphoria package, which will be shown by Akshat Patel about how to install it. So this is just a basic AR application that we're creating. So first of all, this is the main camera which we can see here. But since we are creating an AR application, we won't need this camera. So we'll just delete this camera. And we'll click on the plus sign and add a, since we are working with XR, we'll go to XR and add the AR session origin. So this is a game object. So we'll just go to the AR session origin, and here we can see the AR camera. So the AR camera we see here, within the app, this will work as the human eye. So as soon as you open the application, this is where the camera will point. And the frame we can see here, this is what is the view frame of the camera. Whichever object we place here will only be visible to the camera. Apart from that, it will not be visible. So now let's try and put a 3D object into the scene. So for that, similarly, I'll just go to the plus sign and create a 3D object called a cube. So now since the cube is within the view frame of the AR camera, now we can just have a look. We can see in the scene that there is a cube. So now we can move the cube using in the toolbar. There are a lot of things. We can enlarge it using the enlarge tool. So we can just scale it here. So essentially, the cube is a game object. Now, game object is a character into the game. And as we can see, as we click on the game object, the inspector window shows us the details of the game object, such as the position. All the positions are relative to the origin. So there are two options to scale object. Either we can scale it this way, or we can directly put the coordinates into the given blank. So here we can see the cube which is into the sea. So below we have the project. Here we have all the assets related to the game, and we have a console button. So what is a console? So essentially, in the next part where Akshat Patel will be showing you how to create an AR application, we will be writing a code. Basically, for Unity, we write most of the code using C Sharp, and the console is where you run your code. And in case you have any error, the console shows the error in exactly what line is the error and what is the problem. So this basically works as a compiler where you run the code and you come to know the error. Okay, so here we can see. So now we'll try and color this object. So for that, what we'll do is we can right click and create a new material. So as we go to the material, we can just change the color of this material from white to any color. Suppose let's choose green this time. So now we can see the material is green. And now we just drag and drop onto the cube. So now we have a green color cube. And now in case I can, so a cube is now just a game object which cannot be reused anywhere else. But if I drag and drop it into the project manager, so here the cube is a here is a so now we can use it. It's a prefab. So prefab is basically a game object that can be reused multiple times. So now even if I delete the cube from here, I drag and drop it back. So I have the same green cube which is a prefab. So this prefab can be reused any number of times. So now let's try and see what asset is. So basically assets are the game objects that can be used within the game. So a few of the assets are inbuilt into Unity, but all the additional assets we can go into the Windows and the asset store. So this is where mostly all the assets have been. We can download all the assets. So we just need to click on search online, and this will take us to the Unity asset store. So here we can search for any asset. Let's just search for a 3D object. So first of all, we'll just sort the price because we don't want to buy a paid one. So we'll just sort the price and just let's just see a 3D baker object. This is a sample. So here I have already downloaded this thing. So we can directly open it in Unity. So as you can see, this is so I just need to import it. So I'll just import it, and this shows me the list of objects that have already been there. So all of these are the assets which I have downloaded in the 3D Baker object. So let's just click on import. So as you can see in the project bar, earlier I didn't see the one 3D, but now since I have got the asset, so I'll just go and we'll click on the 3D bakery. We'll go to prefab and let's put a sample a hamburger. So we can just drag and drop it. So now since this is really small, so what we do now is we just scale it using the scale tool. So now we can see this. So similarly, apart from this, this is just an example. We can keep a lot of other assets which can directly be imported from the Unity asset store. So now what we'll do is, so this is a simple, and we can just see, we can just go to the game and we can just see what all things are visible here. So similarly, now if we want to build this application and use it on the mobile phone, so we'll simply need to go to file, we'll need to go to build settings, and we'll just need to build. So what this will create? This will create a sample APK which can easily be run on a mobile device. If the only thing is that you need to change the permission of the mobile devices so that external applications can be downloaded. So this was just a small overview of the menus and of how you can create a sample AR application. Apart from this, you can create a lot of other things. So I from here, Mr. Akshat Patel will take on. This was just a short introduction on Unity. Thank you.
Thank you, Pranav. So now I would like to begin the session by showing you all how to connect your LED to the Node MCU and control it using the Blink app. So this won't be a follow along session. You may refer this session later on while creating your own project, and I promise you that you will be able to do it very easily. So I'll just share my screen using my mobile. I will be providing all the links to the download later on. So you have to download the Blink app and then create an account using your Gmail ID. I've already created the account, so I'll just log in using my account credentials. You will be getting a similar page like this. You have to create a new project and enter a name, AR with IoT. Select the module. We are using the Node MCU module, so I'll be selecting that. The connection type would be Wi-Fi, and then you have to create the project. An authentication token will be sent to your email address, a registered email address. You have to keep it safe. So after you get the authentication token on your email ID, you have to save it in your notepad for further use. I'll be showing you how to use that. So to configure the Blink app, you have to click on this plus icon and add a button. Click on the button and you can just name the button as anything you like. I'll name it AR with IoT. Set the pin to virtual pin V1. All the rest of the settings will be the same. You can tweak the labels and the name of the button as per your choice. So this is how we configure the Blink app. The Blink app is now ready. I have already created a Blink app using my phone. So I'll show you how it runs. So this is the Wi-Fi module. I have connected an LED using it, and I have to run the script on the Blink module by clicking on the triangle button on the right top side. As soon as I run the Blink app and I click on the button, the LED starts to glow. So this will be the logic for the entire project. We won't be controlling the LED using the Blink app, but rather we'll be using the Blink API. Now let me quickly tell you what are APIs. Blink provides API services to the users on the website. There is a website. We have to add our authentication token. We have to set the PIN number, and we have to set the PIN state. For example, if one denotes for on state, you have to enter 1. I'll be showing that in action in just a few seconds. I hope the screen is visible now. And as you can see here, this is the API which Blink provides. I've entered the authentication token here. The pin V1 is set here, and the value is currently 0. If I change the value to 1, you will observe that the LED changes its state to on state. If the value is 0 here, the LED goes off. We will be using these links to control our appliance. In this case, we are using an LED, but we can use any AC device based on our preference using a relay module. So let me just quickly show you how to configure the Vuforia engine. To configure the Vuforia engine, you have to go to the developer.vuforia.com. I've already signed in. You have to create an account using your Gmail ID and you have to log in using your credentials. Just go and download, and you have to download the Vuforia engine package for your laptop. I've already downloaded it, so I won't be downloading it again. And after downloading the package, you have to just double click on the package and it will get imported in your Unity project. So let us now see how to configure the Unity Hub. You open the Unity Hub and you have to create a new project. Click on New. Enter the project name as AR with IoT. Keep the other settings as it is. It will take a few minutes to get loaded. If you have any queries right now, you can just put it in the chat section or unmute yourself and ask. It usually takes 1 to 2 minutes to get all the packages loaded, and it depends on your processing power of the laptop. So please be patient while this happens. I'll be showing the further steps right now. Okay, so this is my Unity project, and for the time being I will just delete the main camera from here, and you have to import the Vuforia package which you have downloaded. I'll just import it. You have to double click and it will open in the scene automatically. You have to import it. Again, it will take a few minutes. You have to click on update. While this happens, let me show you how to configure the Vuforia engine. So as you are on the developer.vuforia.com and you have logged into your account, you have to click on develop. And there are two main important things. You have to generate a new license key and you have to set your target on the Vuforia cloud. So to generate the license key is used for connecting your Unity 3D project with your Vuforia engine, which is running on the cloud. So you need an authentication token in the form of a license key. So for creating that, you have to click on Get Development Key. You have to enter the name as per your choice. Click the checkbox and confirm it. So this is the key I've created right now. So you have to keep the authentication key safe with you. This is the key. I'll just copy it here. And as you can see, my Vuforia engine package is already downloaded, imported in the Unity project. You can see by right clicking here, Vuforia engine. First of all, you need to add the AR camera to give the Unity project AR capabilities. To configure the AR camera with Vuforia engine, you have to open the Vuforia engine configuration from here and add the license key here. Now your Unity 3D project is connected to the Vuforia engine on the cloud. So let us now see how to add the target image. To add the target image, you have to go to the target manager. Once it gets loaded, you have to add the database to the cloud. So the target manager is now open. You have to add the database. You have to give a name as per your choice. I'm maintaining the same name for convenience. You have to keep the device setting as it is and create. Once the database is created, you have to click on it. And now we need to add the target image, which will be scanned by a mobile phone so that the virtual buttons can pop up in augmented reality. So to add the target image, you have to click on add target. Since this is a single image, you have to just keep it as it is. You have to choose the file from here. I have already downloaded a target image, and so I'll be selecting the target image from here. The width can be 1. Okay. So you have to add the target image into your database. Once it gets updated, you can download the database and it will create a Unity package folder. So you have to download the database, select Unity editor, click on download. It will get downloaded in a few minutes, in a few seconds. So as you can see that my Unity package has been downloaded. You have to just double click on it. It will open in the Unity project. You have to just click on import and it will automatically get the database. The data of the database will automatically get connected to a Unity project. So now we have to configure the Unity settings. For that, you just need to right click on the AR camera, go to Vuforia engine and select image target. Since we have already uploaded our images in the database on the Vuforia cloud, you have to click on the type from database. You have to select your database AR with IoT and the target image gets automatically updated in your Unity engine. After that, we need to add the virtual buttons so that we can control our appliances using augmented reality. So you right click on the image target, go to so you click on the image target, go to advanced settings and add virtual buttons. So as you can see that one button is added here. I'll just show it to you. So this is the button which is added here. You can just move it as per your convenience. Now this will be the off button. So we need one more button. So we'll go to the target image target, advanced settings, and add one more virtual button. So this is the other virtual button that is created. So I'll just configure it. This is the on button, and this is the off button. I'll just rename it for convenience. Okay. So the buttons are added to your Unity project. We are halfway done through the entire tutorial. Now, since these buttons are very transparent, you won't be able to see any of them while you run the script. So we need to add a plane and an image so that we can recognize the button. For that, you need to right click on the on button, go to 3D object and add a plane. Since the plane is very large compared to the button, you have to resize it using the resize tool and match its size to the Unity button or virtual button. You have to click on the off image off button and do the similar process. Okay, since the buttons are created now, we need to add the images. For that, I've already created images for on and off. So I'll just import it, drag and drop it in my Unity project. So these are the two images, and I'll add the pictures of the image on my plane so that it is visible. Since the images are upside down, you can just change the orientation of the y-axis by 180 degrees so that it becomes upright. Okay, so now we have added the virtual buttons in our Unity project, and our design part is almost done. Now we need to add logic to this project, and how we will do that? We need to add a script. I've already created the script with the name AR with IoT underscore script. So I'll be explaining the script to you. So we'll just drag and drop it in a Unity project. It takes a while to get the script loaded, and then you can just drag and drop it in the image target. You can check the script. You can check the working of the script by scrolling down on the image target. You'll find a script with all these variables. Now there are 4 variables here: the virtual button on, virtual button off, URL on, and URL off. So this variable, we need to drag and drop a virtual on button to this section, off button to this section, and if you remember, we have used the Blink API URL uh, to control our devices. So this is for the on configuration. So I'll just copy it here and paste it here. And for off, you need to change the value from 1 to 0. So we have added the logic to our image target. So the configuration of the Unity 3D project is done. Now I'll explain the script to you. This is the C# script. I have opened it using Visual Studio Code. You can use your Notepad or any other IDE to open your script. So these are the libraries which are important in this project. I have added the name of the script here. You need to make sure that the name of the file and the name of the public class is same. If it is not same, you will get an error and it won't get compiled. So there are 4 variables here: the virtual button on, the virtual button off, the URL on, and URL off. Basically, what we are doing in this script is, as soon as the button is clicked using our hand in augmented reality, the Unity Vuforia engine detects our hand and it requests the when the on button is pressed, it requests the URL on, which is this URL, which is the same URL. It gets requested, and when the virtual button off is pressed, it requests the off URL. And in the debug window, we will be able to see the message LED is on when on is pressed and LED is off when off is pressed. So let us quickly try it out if our project works or not. So I'll just play. The camera of the mobile laptop should get turned on, and I have the target image on my mobile phone. It should get detected. See. As you can see, the Vuforia engine is detecting the target image and it is overlaying with virtual buttons. Now to turn on your device, you just need to hover your hand on the virtual button on. So as you can see that I have configured the buttons wrong. I'll just correct it. In the image target, the virtual button on and off needs to be replaced or interchanged. So I'll just do that. I'll click on play again. So okay. So if I think it was previously. So the title. So as you can see that the message in the debug window in the lower left side, it shows the LED is off, and if I hover on my green button, it shows the LED is on. So our project is done here, and now I'll show you how to configure the hardware part of this project. You will be needing a Node MCU development board, and you need to program it using C language using the Arduino IDE. Here is the code I have used to configure the Node MCU development board. So I'll be sharing all the code, all the files, and everything that is required in the Word file after the event. So for now, you just bear with me. I'll just explain the code. We need to declare the pin number, which is D0 in this case. So you need to connect your LED to the pin D0 and the ground pin of the LED to the ground of the Node MCU board. These are the libraries, essential libraries. And now the most important part. If you remember, we got an authentication tone from a Blink app on our email ID. You just have to paste it here. And you need to connect your Node MCU board to your Wi-Fi network. For that, you need to enter the name of the Wi-Fi right here and the password of the Wi-Fi here. This is just for demonstration purposes, so I've connected my mobile hotspot using this code. So since we had selected the pin V1 on our Blink app, we need to enter V1 right here. And now the main logic of the code comes into picture. Since we have declared the relay pin D0, when the pin value is 1, when the pin value of the relay pin is 1, it will print on in the serial monitor and print off in the serial monitor when it is turned off. And also it will set the value of the node, send the value to the Node MCU board so that it will turn on the LED and turn off the LED. I will show that in action right now. This is the debug board, and I'll just open the Blink app which is running. So if I click, since you can see that it is on right now, I just click here and it shows off. So it shows on when I click on and off when I click off. So in this way, we can control our LEDs over the internet from anywhere in the world using the Blink app. And I hope the code is clear right now. And the project is done here, but we need to create an APK file for our project. For that, what we need to do is go to File, Build Settings. You need to change your platform to Android since we are working only on Android right now. So you need to click on Android and switch the platform. It will take a few minutes, 1 or 2 minutes to switch the platform. Once the platform is switched, we need to add the icon, the name of the APK file, and just click on build, which will build the APK for us. So as you can see that the platform is switched to Android. Now we can just go to player settings. You can add the default company, anything you want. I'll add Amusia since Manipal University is Jaipur is my college. Product name will be AR with IoT, which will be the app name. Now to add the default icon, we need a picture right here. So for that, I'll just go download, and I've already created an icon here. So I'll just import it as well. And again, I'll go to build set player settings. I'll click on the default icon and select it, and done. Now I'll just build. I click on build, so it will create an APK file for a mobile phone. So we need to add the title AR IoT and save it, and it will get built. It will take a few minutes depending on the processing power of the laptop. So this process usually takes around 1 to 1.5 minutes. for me. I request you all to please stay tuned at the end. I'll be showing the document file, and I'll also show you how to configure your Arduino IDE for your Node MCU development board, since it is not pre-configured. So after we build the app, since you can see that the AR with IoT APK is created, we need to import it in our mobile phone. So I'll just do that. Usually the size of the APK file is around 34 to 35 MB, and since I've already created the APK for my mobile phone, I'll quickly show it to you how it works in real life. Just give me a few seconds to configure my phone. So I'll be sharing the screen of my mobile phone right now. So I hope my screen is visible. I've already created the app AR with IoT. I'll just click on it, and I'll open the target image on my laptop. It takes a few seconds to get all things loaded in a mobile phone. So as you can see that the camera is detecting the virtual buttons. I've added the LED right here for you to observe, for you to observe. And since the mobile phone is detecting the target image, it is creating virtual buttons in augmented reality. And when I hover my finger on the on button, the LED turns on. When I hover my hand on the off button, the LED turns on. Since I'm sharing my screen at the same time, the processing is very slow, but it is generally not the case. So I'll quickly show you how to set up your Arduino IDE. So once you download the Arduino IDE from the software, I will be providing all the links in a document file for you to follow. Right now, assuming that you already have Arduino IDE on your laptop, you need to go to the tools. First of all, you need to paste this link in the preferences section so that your Arduino IDE recognizes all the libraries and all the packages related to the ESP8266 Wi-Fi module. After pasting the link, you need to go to the tools. You need board manager, and you need to download the ESP8266 Node MCU board. So you just have to type Node MCU, and since I've already installed it, I won't install it again. We just have to install it, and after installing, all the packages and libraries will get installed into Arduino IDE. Once you install the board to your Arduino IDE, you need to go to the tools. You need to set your COM port. You need to connect your Node MCU board to the laptop using a micro USB cable. You need to go to your device manager and then check the port. The Silicon Lab port is the Node MCU port. So it is connected to the COM port. So you need to select the communication port 4. You have to select the board as Node MCU 1.0, and you don't have to change any settings right here. And I will be providing the code. You just have to paste the code, add in your authentication token, write the name of the Wi-Fi network you wish to connect. Please note that this Node MCU board won't get connected to your college or any corporate Wi-Fi network. It needs to be your home network or your mobile network, since almost all the corporate networks are automatically block all the third-party connections. So you need to enter the Wi-Fi name here, your password here, the PIN number which you have set on the Blink app, and click on upload. Once you click on upload, the code will get transferred to a Node MCU board, and once it shows that it has already uploaded, you have I'll show it to you. I'll just upload the code once again. So it will get compiled first. It usually takes around 1 minute to get all the code uploaded to the Node MCU board. Okay, so you can observe that the code is getting uploaded to a Node MCU development board. Once it gets uploaded, you can click on this icon, which is for field monitor, and you will be able to observe the behavior of the Node MCU board right now. So when I click on the reset button, it gets connected to my Wi-Fi network, and now the board is ready to use. When I use my Blink app to click on the on button, it shows on, the LED turns on, and when I click off, it shows off, the LED turns off. So in this way, we can understand that our Node MCU board is perfectly working fine. We have successfully uploaded the code to a Node MCU development board, and the hardware is ready. Now we can detach the Node MCU board from our laptop and use a power bank or any 5-volt power supply to power the Node MCU development board and keep it anywhere nearer to the Wi-Fi network which it needs to get connected to. So once we do that, we just have to open our mobile phone, open the AR app, make sure that the Blink application is running, and then open the AR with IoT application, and you can paste the image of the target image under your appliance, and then you can scan the target image using your mobile phone. The virtual button gets created in augmented reality, and you can control your application using augmented reality from anywhere in the world. The target image and your mobile phone need not be in the same network, need not be in the same room. You can be anywhere in the world, and you can control your appliances using augmented reality. So this was an example of the connection of an LED. Now what if you want to control a bulb or a tube light? So for that you will be needing a relay module. A relay module is nothing but an electromechanical switch. It looks like this. And just like you have added the name of the pins to your LED, you need to just connect your digital pin from your Node MCU to the input 1 of your relay module, and connect the ground to the ground pin and VCC to the PCC pin of the Node MCU board. And once you do that, you will be able to control the relay module using your Blink app and as well as your augmented reality app. So to connect the appliances, you need to connect it right here in the ports. And if any one of you wants to connect an AC appliance, you can contact me at any time via LinkedIn or email, and we'll discuss it further on. Since it requires adult supervision and a bit of experience, I'm not showing it in this video. Please make sure that whenever you make this project using the relay module or any AC module, you make sure that you are taking all the safety precautions, and do not do this alone, or you always need an adult supervision, preferably a faculty member or your parents, just so that nothing goes wrong. But even though this is a very safe platform and these modules are very safe to use, you need to take all the precautions. And for safety reasons, I'm not showing anything right now. You can just control the LED using the entire project. And another application of the augmented, I'll just talk about what are the other applications of the module, the entire project. So imagine you have a spare phone in your house. You have to just run this application on your spare phone, and you can just keep it anywhere behind you or anywhere in your room so that you are in the frame, and you can scale the virtual buttons in such a way that it creates a larger virtual button, and then the mobile phone is running in your background. You just have to wave your hand, and the appliance can get turned on or turned off. It is it is a better alternative than home automation devices like smart LEDs or smart fan, which requires a mobile application. You need to open the application and you need to see what appliance you need to turn on and control the appliance using your application. But using augmented reality, you just have to wave your hand in the air, and the appliance will get turned on or turned off as per your code. Uh, Another thing to note that this is this is a hard coded project. We are not yet there where we can scale it for flexible use. This can't be used for commercial applications, or this won't be useful if I send the APK file to you. You will be able to control my devices using the APK application, but you won't be able to control your devices. To control your devices, you need to make your own application and hard code the device. And the future prospects of this project are we have created a project to control one appliance using one target image, but we can create multiple target images and control multiple devices at the same time. So you can just imagine in such a way that you have already pre-configured the Unity application in such a way that if you control the devices using your right hand, a particular appliance will get turned on. If you use a left hand, a particular set of devices will get turned on. So in this way, you can scale this project, and there are innumerable possibilities. If any one of you wants to work on the same project, you can contact me or Pranav at any time on our LinkedIn profiles, and I'll just quickly share the link to the document with you all, so that you can follow it when you make your own project. I have pasted the link to the document in the chat section. And I sincerely request you to fill out the feedback form, since your feedback really matters to us, and to make our events better, we need a valuable feedback. So I'll paste both the links in the chat section. You may access it, and that is all from my side. And if you have any questions right now, you can please ask them by typing in the chat section or unmuting yourself by raising your hand first. Thank you, Anushruti. Uh, we'll be waiting for the response from few more students, few more participants. So I guess there are no questions right now. So if you wish to contact us, so you can contact me, Pranav or Nitin Reddy, uh, through LinkedIn or email, and we can work on similar projects together.
Before ending the session, I would like to present few certificates to our speakers.
Thank you.
And one last thing before we end the session, full disclosure on today's session. The entire session was inspired from the Techie SMS YouTube channel, and you can just visit this channel uh, if you like. And this Sachin sir creates very useful projects on IoT and AR and other things related to IoT. And a huge shout out to their YouTube channel for helping us out in the successful execution of this event. So I think with this we have come to an end of the 2-day workshop. In case you have any questions or if you don't feel like asking it right now, you can reach out to us. You already have our phone numbers and email address and LinkedIn profile IDs. So you can reach out to us and we can also work on similar projects together. And I thank the organizing team of ISA Engineer Chapter, our Director Sir, HOD Sir, and faculty coordinators, and Sushil Sir for their support and motivation uh, for the successful execution of this event. And I further thank each and every participant of this session for their patient listening and attentive listening. Thank you so much. You can now leave the session.